in the Navy. Kevin Marr is our referee today. Kyle Trissell and Robert Velbis are assistant referees, and we are underway from Klockner Stadium. The Spartans and the Cavaliers meeting for just the 7th time. Virginia leads the short series with 4 wins, a tie, and a loss. Victor Akum's pass went out of play on the near side, so it goes to UNCG. What's going to strike your eye early in this match, Steve?
I think for UVA, it's really about finding the ball and attacking. Against Stanford on Friday, the first half they sat back. They didn't press the ball. They didn't really attack. They tried to only counterattack. In the second half against Stanford, they really commanded it. They played Stanford straight up, and they looked a lot better. So have the confidence today to really go at UNCG and express themselves going forward. And then for UNCG, they're a really good team with really good attacking players. I do think they're vulnerable on set pieces, which for UVA is something that they're better at. So I expect a really, really tight matchup today. Yeah, speaking of set pieces, Nick Dang coming from the back for the Cavaliers, number 2 in Navy, could be a force on those set pieces, so we'll pay attention to that as the match continues. As you mentioned, Steve, 1-0 loss for UVA against Stanford back on Friday. The Cardinals scoring on a free kick just outside of the box when Alvin Gashi was issued a red card that was questionable for the Cavaliers, and Chris Rich, the head coach for UNCG, agreed that it should not have been a red card, but the Cavaliers are without Gashi today. No Umberto Pella as well, who got injured in warm-ups for UVA going into that Stanford match. Those are 2 key engines in the midfield that are not with the Cavaliers today. Yeah, you said it. Just 2 key absences for them. So some new faces in the midfield. But yeah, missing Gashi and Pella, those are 2 guys that have played a lot of minutes this year. So look for Lamb to step up. He's a guy who's played a lot of minutes so far this year. Look for him to step up and lead that midfield today. Lamb had a very unique position to begin the season. Brendan was playing what they called a joker position. George Gelnevach, 29th season as the head coach. He loves Lamb to just move around the field in different areas, but because of the injury to Pella and the absence of Gashi, Lamb is a little bit more stationary, if you will, as a center defensive mid. And I think that's it for Lamb. I think that's his most natural position. When he's comfortable, like second half against Stanford, he was really comfortable. He was getting on the ball. He was running with the ball. He looked really confident. And so if he can do that today, he's going to be a real asset for the Cavs. Yeah, we spoke with associate head coach Adam Perrin yesterday. And he said that Brendan took a little bit of time to get adjusted back to that center midfield spot, but certainly feels comfortable there today. Here's Cesar Cordova. Textured ball out wide for Danny Mangarov, who was playing as a 10 earlier this season, now out wide on a flank. Crosses in, looking for Cordova, and his shot sails high. Goal kick UNCG. And there's a little sneak peek there of what I think UVA can do to really exploit UNCG. I think the most favorable matchup for UVA against UNCG is the wide play. The 2 UVA wingers going against the 2 UNC outside backs. I think UVA has the edge there. I think that is a part of the field where they can make goals happen. Akum with the intercept now for the Cavaliers on this wide angle. Joaquin Brizuela getting the nod as the central striker today for UVA, 11 in the Navy. Yeah, Brizuela came on late against Stanford, but played really well. I mean, he sits on the bench until 65 minutes in, comes off. Really good hold-up play, a lot of energy, had a chance to score. I think it's really exciting to see what he can do and step into this role. Freshman from Argentina, the coaching staff believes that he's a bigger version of Leo Afonso, who was getting first-team minutes with Inter Miami and Lionel Messi. So that speaks high volumes to his abilities at the collegiate level. It's a nice comparison, isn't it? I'd say so. Yoshia Okawa in the midfield. Clean play there. And Cordova finds the outlet, Triton Beauvois. He's played as a central striker, now out wide today for the Cavaliers. He gallops ahead, beats one defender. Beauvois inside the 18, nifty move, and he shoots with the left foot, denied. Self Wilson, the redshirt sophomore coming over from Akron with the stop. And you see it there, Beauvois got great feet, he's got great pace. If they can get him the ball and have him do more of that, just express himself. Right here, that's inches. That's inches from being a goal.
Beauvoir coming off the ACL injury a season ago. Suffered that against Duke on September the 8th. Speedy recovery for Triton. Starting his 5th match now on the season. So the first corner kick on the day for the Cavaliers. It'll be taken by Paul Visa, the senior from Germany, who has the team lead with 4 assists so far in 2024. Opts to go short. Mangarov curls it in. That's headed away by the big center back Emmanuel Hagan at 6'4". And that pops off the foot of Visa, out of play. Wet conditions. It's been misty throughout the pregame here in Charlottesville, and something that these teams are going to have to contend with all day long.
Yeah, it's certainly wet. It's certainly soft. And another thing about the field is Klockner is usually a lot shorter. The grass is usually cut a lot shorter, but there's been so much rain the last 3 days, I'm not sure they've been able to mow it. So it's different. They're on their home surface, but it's a different home surface than they're accustomed to.
Yeah, go back to that Friday night match against Stanford. It was raining cats, dogs, hippopotamuses. I mean, a lot was coming down in that second half.
Sure was. Yeah. I was here, but I didn't see the hippos. But I'll take your word for it that Mudang was making an appearance.
Maybe my imagination. I don't know. But I think that certainly played a factor into why the match that was supposed to happen last night was pushed to today. Just the accumulation of all that rain coming down. That's why we have a Tuesday afternoon match for you.
Beautiful day for soccer.
Oh, yeah. You know, I think we're doing people a great service today. They're sitting at work, they're bored at their office, and they get to watch some collegiate soccer. Only game in the country going on right now.
Yeah, all eyes on this.
Yeah. And very privileged to bring it to you. Daniel Longo, the junior from Ontario. One of a handful of transfers for UNCG that have fit in like a glove for head coach Chris Rich this year.
Yeah, I think that's maybe the most impressive thing about this UNCG team is how many transfers they brought in and how well they have meshed. It's not an easy thing to do. You see a lot of teams throughout the country bringing in a ton of transfers, but it doesn't always work. Chris Rich has made it work.
Yeah, really enjoyed our conversation with Coach Rich yesterday. He said that the key to the transfer portal these days is just being very intentional with the type of kids you want to bring in from a character perspective. And the vibe I almost got from Coach Rich, Steve, they conduct what's like a job interview for those players that are coming in to see if they would fit in through good situations or bad.
Yeah, no, the transfer process for UNCG, as Chris Rich explained it, really did sound like that. You know, he said he brings players in and says, how would you solve this issue? And sees what the player says. I think he's done a really great job of character-first team building.
Triton Beauvoir inside the area. Finds the feet of David Okori, 23 in Navy, making his first career start today. Lay it out wide now to Enzo Dovolo, who leads the team with 4 goals this season, had his first career brace in the opener against USC Upstate. Yeah, so you have Longo as a transfer coming over from Canisius. Axel Alejandre, 3 in white, who's in the back, comes over from Louisville. So they've really incorporated a lot of different guys, freshman class as well, and they are very confident that this is a program that should be in the top 25 for years to come. Rich now in his 6th season as the Spartans head coach. The first 4 years of his tenure, UNCG either won the SoCon regular season championship or tournament championship. Last year, a down year, just 2 wins, but they've already eclipsed that total this season with 3.
Yeah, last year was a bit of an anomaly, especially coming off the Elite 8 appearance. Not sure what happened to them last year, but they're fully back this year. I really do think that you'll see them get ranked in the top 25 in the weeks to come. Yeah,
they were number 18 at one point this season, now outside the top 25. And going back to last season, I think what Coach Rich felt was that they lost a lot of production from that Elite 8 team in 2022. And he did take some ownership himself, saying that I didn't establish the right culture. I didn't bring in the right guys. This year, though, it feels like he did bring in the right guys.
No, certainly. I think we've seen that so far.
Okawa's cross. That deflects off of Victor Akum. Playing in the spot of Reese Miller. You might be used to that guy as the left back. But Miller not playing. Torn ACL against Wake Forest earlier this year. So they've been trying out some different guys on the left side. Akum and Parker Sloan have played that position. Here's a free kick for UVA.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate to lose Miller because I think he's a really special player. I think he was one of their best players, if not the best player for them in the first month of the season. So to see him go down is it's disappointing, but wish him the best.
Yeah, tied for the team leading goals with 3. And he plays as a defender. Beauvoir, a Corey inside the box, and the Cavaliers earn another corner. About 10 minutes into our first half, we're still scoreless. Cavaliers have had a majority of the possession so far. So no Reese Miller for the Cavaliers, no Umberto Pella, no Alvin Gashi. One guy they are excited to get back today is Grant Howard, the transfer from Virginia Tech, of all places.
Yeah, flirting with a pretty big rivalry there.
Yeah. Virginia Tech, next opponent for UVA coming up on Friday. Visa serves it in towards the penalty dot, and there again is the head of Hagan to clear it away. Akum. He adventures forward, shoots with the left foot, and tracks it just wide. Goal kick, UNCG.
Yeah, not a bad attempt. Good for him, taking it on with his left foot. UVA's had a really good start, I think. They haven't sat back in a low block, as sometimes they do. And you see here, just getting off a pretty good opportunity, maybe a half chance, but still putting the pressure on UNCG early.
Akum, the sophomore from Edmonton, and yeah, they did not want to lose Reese Miller, but speaking to the coaches this week, Steve, they feel like Victor brings an athletic piece that is different than Reese Miller from days past.
Yeah, it's a different look for sure. Reese Miller's really very technical. Akum he's a strong guy, a lot of pace. It'll be interesting to see if he can go the full 90 today. Gelnevich likes to keep, the back line intact for the whole game, but he's still working up to full match fitness, I think. So we'll see what he can do here today.
And even though the Cavaliers have just 2 wins in their first 8 matches, the back line has not been the problem. Now, UVA has given up 1 goal in each of the last 5 matches. Obviously, you'd love a clean sheet or 2 in there, but they've only surrendered 6 goals this season. There's Joey Batruni in net for the Cavaliers, making his 20th consecutive start, coming over from Coastal Carolina 2 seasons ago. But those guys have done a really solid job back there. And the strange thing to think about, the last 3 goals that UVA has given up have all gone off the post.
Yeah, that's tough. But I think you're right that the defense is not the problem. I think they've had trouble so far getting the forwards in particular to click. We've seen a lot of different combinations.
Okawa, a shot, and it's in! Yoshia Okawa, the senior from Tokyo, with his 2nd goal on the year, and quickly UNCG with the advantage.
Yeah, great finish from Okawa. Well to get on it in the box, turn, quick shot on the ground, right next to the keeper's post. I'm really, really well done.
So after all that praise for the Cavaliers defense, UNCG's attack in a flash scores.
Yeah, and it's a real breakdown here. Rome gets pulled wide with Akum, and there's nobody around Okawa as he runs into the 18 and gets a shot off. They're not going to be happy with that. That is a huge, huge defensive breakdown.
So Okawa now in his 3rd season with UNCG, coming over from Radford, spent 1 year with the Highlanders. Had his first goal this season and an assist against Davidson on September the 6th, and his account is reopened. Cavaliers look for the quick response. Beauvoir shoots over the net of Wilson.
Yeah, you can see it. They want Beauvoir on the ball. That's how they're going to attack today. They want him going at defenders and getting shots and crosses off. I think as he faces him up here, if he could turn him inside, I think he's gone end line every single time, and I think Longo has kind of come to expect that. Turn him inside, maybe go for the far post.
Steve, this is a big gut check time for the Cavaliers. These players know they have not won a match since August the 29th against St. Joe's. That was a 5-0 win. They haven't had a win over their last 5. Now you go down early at home against UNCG. This is tough right now.
Yeah, it's really unlike UVA to start a season like this. And I think the players know that. I think they know that when they put on that shirt with the 7 national championship stars, there's a responsibility to play well.
Dovolo offside here for UNCG.
Offside.
And George
Spartans.
Gelnovich, in our conversation before the season started, we talked about pressure. And he said, look, it's time to get back to a College Cup. They haven't done that now in 5 years. And he says, look, we talk about this because if you want to come to UVA, there are high standards here.
Yeah, and I think they're not living up to those quite yet, but like I said before, I do think they have the pieces. They do have talented players, and they do have a great staff. You know, Adam Perrin is as good with X's and O's as any other coach in the country, but it just hasn't clicked yet. And they haven't found the right combination of things to really make it work and win games.
Well, this little nugget here really caught my eyes, Steve. So UVA has 2 wins in the first 8 matches. The last time the Cavaliers had 2 wins in their first 8 matches in a season, you have to go back to the Lyndon B. Johnson administration, and before we reached the moon, 67 was the last time that happened.
Pretty wild.
Crazy.
I didn't even know they were playing soccer back then.
Yeah, they were. Also, the first ever Big Mac was sold back in 1967.
Is that right?
Yeah. Sold in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Into the box it goes again. Visa knocks it away momentarily. Onto the foot of Issa Haruna, the talented freshman from Ghana. Tatuva. Big season last year with 7 goals as a freshman, 26 in white. And you can really sense that the Spartans are feeling some mojo early here after getting that first goal.
Yeah, they look really comfortable on it. I think UVA had the better of the play until the UNCG goal, and now Greensboro just looks really fluid. They look like they're having fun.
Dovolo combines inside with the goal scorer Okawa. Dovolo offside here, and Longo know that he made a mistake. Goal kick for the Cavaliers, and Joey Batruni.
You know, Corey, I have to ask you, you mentioned the Big Mac. What's your go-to McDonald's order?
My go-to McDonald's order is not going there at all.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
It's not a very fun answer.
No, I know.
I'm going to go with the Happy Meal.
Okay.
I like the choice.
Okay, no, it's good to know. In case you're ever hungry before a broadcast, I'll make a stop.
Appreciate it.
Just getting fries is good enough for me. That's fine. You know, we travel a lot in this business, so sometimes you can't exercise as much, so you got to be careful what you put into your body.
Wow, that's very conscious of you.
Yeah,
Well
no,
done.
I try.
You look great.
Well, I'm all puffed up in this jacket right now. It's a little chilly here. You know, mid-60s, foggy, misty. So I may look better than you actually think in this jacket. Anyway, 17 minutes into our first half. The opening goal from Yoshia Okawa. I thought it was very intriguing, our conversation with Coach Rich about some of the subs that he has off the bench and some of the versatility he has in the midfield and forward spots and can plug and play.
Yeah, I think, you know, you just mentioned Okawa. He's a guy that might come off the field for Mark later in the game, and Mark's a completely different player than Okawa. Okawa's super technical, he's got great feet, he's really creative. Mark is more of a bruiser. He'll get stuck into challenges, but so far in this game, Okawa's really fit the system well. He's getting on the ball, he's distributing it, and that's because the game's open. You know, if it gets into more of a ground and pound game, maybe an aerial game, Mark will come on.
And the same story for Issa Haruna versus Maxwell Debodine. Haruna in the starting lineup today, he's more of a technical player than Debodine, who has that physical component to his game.
That's right. Yeah, Haruna's a freshman from Ghana who's just he's so energetic. He loves pressing the ball. He really has fun on the ball as well. But Debodine, again, I mean, Coach Rich is really, he's got good problems in that he's got a wealth of talent, and he's got guys that offer him different things at different times.
Haruna has now started the last 4 matches for UNCG. Now, the last match for the Spartans doesn't necessarily count just yet. They played last Tuesday against High Point in Greensboro, but play was suspended about 33 minutes in due to inclement weather. High Point had the lead in that match. They scored in the 10th minute. Both coaching staffs are hoping for that match to be resumed at some point, but they don't have a date just yet. So that's why UNCG hasn't played a full 90 minutes in exactly 2 weeks.
Yeah, and it's tough to get out of the rhythm of playing, especially with the hurricane. They've had some troubles practicing and having to kind of rejig things. But so far today, it doesn't look like it's really impeded their success.
Yeah, so they played that match at home on Tuesday. Then they had their mandatory off day on Wednesday. Then the university closed down Thursday night into Friday morning, so they couldn't get a training session in Thursday either. Then had to reconfigure their schedule for Friday to get a training session in that night. And then yesterday, oh, by the way, the match was supposed to happen and got pushed to today.
Yeah, which is tough because, they thought they were going to play last night, so all their game day prep is, they're prepping for a game, and then you don't play, and then you got to do it all over again, but play a game earlier in the day than you're maybe used to, find a hotel room, it's difficult.
Longo's cross in, taken away by the Cavaliers. Here's Mangaroff, and Brizuela has some space. 1-on-2 against the center backs. Brizuela brought down. That'll draw a card. The question is what color? It's yellow.
And I think that's correct. I think Alejandro was in there to cover Hagen, and it's, on one hand you don't want to foul him there, but it's not a very dangerous spot, so it's a good decision from Hagen just to stop him because Hagen's in on goal.
Hagen, a guy who has started now 5 years for UNCG. This is his 73rd career start, 3-time All-SoCon first-team selection. And his center back partner is Axel Alejandre, who is another one of those transfers moving over from Louisville. And by the way, our referee, Kevin Marr, is now going to look at the replay monitor to check if this should stand as a yellow card. I know you were pretty definitive. You thought this was yellow.
Yeah, I think why not do it? He's already stopped the clock. I guess go take a peek. But I think turning this into a red would be really, really harsh and the wrong decision. But we'll see. Yeah, I think the question there is Alejandro going to be able to get in front of Brizuela and defend the goal? And we'll see what the ref decides here, but I think yellow is the right call.
And again, you go back to that decision on Friday night in the Stanford UVA match when Alvin Gashi got a red card. Certainly a dangerous position for Stanford to score on, but there were a couple of Cavaliers in the periphery who were trying to make plays on defense. By the way, the call on the field does stand, so it is just a yellow card here for Hagen, so he'll stay on the field and we'll continue 11v11.
Yeah, I think Gashi's red was really harsh. It was called the yellow initially, and then he reviewed it and gave a red.
Nick Dang nearly got a goal there on the free kick from Mangaroff.
Yeah, it's a good ball in, and Nick Dang is pretty close to getting a foot on that. He's really, really dangerous on set pieces, and you see it there.
Dang coming over from Lipscomb, 2 in the Navy. Has a couple of header goals already this season against Colgate and St. Joe's. Or excuse me, Ryder and St. Joe's. Austin Rome asking for the ball. He gets it here on the near side. Akum checking in towards the inside. That's something that the Cavaliers coaching staff wanted to see today. The outside backs pinching inside. Here's Akori. First career start today. Beauvoir with the fake. Tips the shoulders. Lays it back Akori. Back post it goes. Brendan Lamb makes the run. Holds it in bounds now for Paul Visa. Has a step. Visa picks his head up, crosses in, back to Akum. The outside backs combining here, and Akum's shot goes just wide to the near side post.
I'll tell you what, Akum's about 6 inches from a goal there. That's a really good take. Really well done from Visa to find him here on the top of the box. And good setup touch, good strike, just doesn't hit the target.
I think that play, though, is kind of exactly what the Cavaliers are looking for. They know Paul Visa is excellent with his service. Had 8 assists a season ago. He's got 4 already this year. And then they want Akum to be involved in these plays moving towards the inside.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they did well there to really, that's outside back. That's one outside back playing another outside back in the 18-yard box. So really pushing forward there, getting everybody involved. It's good from UVA, but they need an end product.
Cavaliers with 11 goals in the first 8 matches this season. Hoping for more, though, as they continue. Here's a rough challenge from David Okori against Jack Birch, the senior from England, who has been a starter for most of his Spartans career.
Yeah, I like Jack Birch a lot as a player. He plays the full 90. He's exactly what you want in a holding midfielder in a 6. He's a hard worker. He's a great leader. And we'll see what he can do here with the service.
Birch, an all-conference second-team selection in the SoCon, 2 out of his first 3 years of college. So it's Birch and Okawa, 2 of the team's veterans who hover over the ball here. And a 2-man wall with Mangarov and Cordova. Looped in, back post. And Rome lets it go. Goal kick, UVA.
That's a perfect ball. That is a perfect ball from Okawa, and he needs a teammate on the end of that because, I mean, it's in the perfect spot. It's gone over every single UVA player's head, and it's dropped in the 6-yard box. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's got a great shape to it. It's the right height. Hagen's got to commit to that because there aren't very many chances that are easier than that.
And Hagen does have some goal-scoring ability. Has 4 goals in his career as a center back. Okori flicks it on. Alejandre blasts it away. Some trouble here on the wet surface for Victor Akoum, but he does nicely after a couple of bounces. And, well, Steven Hernandez had an opportunity to intercept it, but didn't.
I think it's really key for Victor Akoum today. Don't let the ball bounce out of the air. Meet it in the air because it's wet, it's unpredictable. As a defender, you need to meet the ball in the air. Don't let it bounce.
Yeah, and wind's a factor here too as well. It is picking up a little bit. Mangarov, who, by the way, used to play for UNCG, played 2 years with the Spartans, now in his 3rd year with the Cavaliers. Won a SoCon title with UNCG going back to the spring of 2021. Long ball brought down by Beauvois. Longo knocks it away. Okori's back on it for UVA. Beauvois challenging 3 Spartans. Beauvois holds it in bounds, keeps it on the surface. And UNCG retains with Okawa.
Yeah, you just like to see more UVA players in the box there. Beauvois is hustling. He's doing really well to get a cross in. There's only 2 who's in the box to UNCG's 6. So they got to commit more. You know, commit a player to the front post, commit a player to the back post, have one hold. They need to commit players into the box. Cavaliers
certainly searching for solutions right now. They have played mostly 2 strikers throughout the season. They've gone to more of a 4-2-3-1 today, dropping one of those forwards into the midfield. That's why Okori is starting, Cordova getting an opportunity. You have Brizuela as the lone 9 up there. And yeah, Beauvois needs some help. I'm with you.
Yeah, it's a different look for UVA today in the 4-2-3-1. Against Stanford, playing a 4-4-2, flat in the midfield. I do think this actually suits them better.
Cordova with space, trips, no whistle. Okawa clears. Spartans hoping that the counter is on. And now the Spartans settle for possession. You could hear some of the screams from the benches that time.
Yeah, I think Dovolo wanted the ball there, and he was on. But that's okay, you know? Go get the ball another time. Keep your head.
It will come back to you at some point.
That's right.
Were you a screamer on the field for the ball, or?
No, I was always I was very polite. I always said please and thank you. Never raised my voice.
Tetuva to the top goal scorer, Dovolo. Back to Tetuva. Some help from the midfield and Mangarov defending. Dovolo with space. 1v1 against Akoum. Dovolo, that goes off his shin, I thought. That's what Akoum is saying, but the referees say no, it's a corner kick.
I'll tell you what, it certainly looked like it went off Dovolo. I'm not sure they got that right.
And then Victor was making the rectangular motion, asking the officials to take a look. The 4th official may have been involved here, and so they're going to change the call and make this a goal kick.
Yeah, I think you're right that the 4th official, because the center has pointed to his headset. as if to signal that the fourth official told them what to do. I'm not sure that the fourth official is in a better position to make that call than the AR or the center, but they got it right, so kudos to them.
Yeah, and if it was the fourth official, thank you, Tyler Groves, who was in that position today, standing in between the two benches. You know, Steve, I think you give a lot of credit here to UNCG. And look, this is not a Cavaliers team that's inside the top 10 right now. They don't have a number next to their name. You see teams come into Klockner Stadium all the time. If they get the first goal, they're sitting back defensively. That's not happening today.
No, they look light on the ball. They look like they're having fun. They're really playing their game. So fully, yeah, credit to them, because while UVA hasn't gotten the results they wanted, I mean, they held Stanford scoreless until, what, 10 minutes left in that game? So they're a really good defensive team. So to get an early goal is really huge.
Yeah, and the only reason why UVA gave up a goal was because it was a free kick just outside of the box after a red card.
That's right.
Cavaliers are about to make a change. Looks like Kome Obogu is putting on his jersey, one of the backup strikers. Obogu started the other night against Stanford, but his goal-scoring prowess mainly comes as a reserve. Longo drifts towards the inside. Plays it out wide to Mohamed Somaila, who makes the start today, another freshman from Ghana. Played 90 minutes in 3 out of the first 4 matches, but just 3 minutes off the bench in each of the last 3. Spartans get a corner. Paul Visa, one of the 3 captains on this Cavaliers team, but the only one playing today with the injury to Pella and the red card to Gashi. So Albin will be back in the Virginia Tech match, but because of the red card on Friday, can't suit up in the next game, which is today.
Yeah, Gashi's a guy that's given them a lot of minutes this year, so to be without him, he's a leader and he plays in the middle of the park, so he's kind of a huge piece for them.
Sure is. Spartans go short. Fake it one way, and then a swing and a miss that time from Okawa, the goal scorer. And the counter certainly on here for the Cavaliers if they hurry. Lamb rushing forward, but great tracking back by your guy, Jack Birch.
Yeah, it's a great play from Birch. Really good hustle to get back, because to be fair, UVA should be in there. That's a really good counter-attacking opportunity that they just couldn't pull off.
Yeah, at one point it seemed like it was 4v2. Akum goes directly to Brizuela. Hagan had trouble with it. Joaquin Brizuela inside the area, keeps it on his right foot, lays it back for Lamb, finds the space with Visa. Plenty of real estate here for Visa to swoop it in to the back post over the head of Beauvoir, and UNCG on it first with Longo.
Visa's got to do better there. That's a really good opportunity to put a dangerous ball into the box, and he floats it over everyone.
UNCG opts to go quickly here. Oh, and then the late whistle, Tetuva saw an open teammate on the far side, and he thinks that whistle came very late.
I'm not sure why Tetuva is arguing that, because it's going to play in their advantage, because the ball went past Verna. So they're going to get a chance to redo it. I'm not sure why he's arguing with ref there.
So now the Cavaliers are able to make the sub as well off the whistle, so Brizuela to get a breather. And here is Kome Obogu. We mentioned that he's a better goal scorer off the bench. Senior from Alabama, has 13 goals in his career. 12 of them have come as a reserve.
Yeah, you know, some players are just better off the bench. They can let the game settle, and they can kind of let the game come to them in the sense of just observing it from the sidelines and seeing how they can be effective.
I don't know if that was intentional from Batruni, but it works. Right to Beauvoir. Cordova. Cesar, the sophomore from Houston, sudden rise this year. Only played 4 games off the bench last year and a consistent fixture in the lineup for Coach Gelnevach this year. Space for Hernandez on the far flank if they got it there. Instead, Birch holds on to it. Haruna finding Somaila. And UNCG patient here with Just over 13 minutes to play in our first half. If you're unfamiliar with this Spartans program historically, they were an excellent Division III team back in the 80s, winning 5 national championships in a 6-year span, quickly in D2. And since they've been in D1 in '91, they've made the NCAA tournament 12 times. And as Steve touched on earlier, made the Elite 8 back in 2022.
Yeah, they're a really good team, and I think part of the reason that they're so successful is that they don't have a football team. Soccer is a Tier 1 sport, as some people call it, at UNCG.
Mangarov, oh, great tackle there. Samaila just took it away from Mangarov.
Yeah, really good just to stand him up there and take the ball. I mean, that's really good defending.
And to your point, Coach Rich was saying that's a huge advantage to not have football. And he said that the UNCG job, that's a destination job. You don't go there and then hope to go somewhere else and springboard off of it. He knew that the resources were there, the support is there, and he certainly has added to that with some appearances in the NCAA tournament since he's taken over.
Yeah, you know, on one hand, football brings in a lot of revenue, but if the resources are there and the school has decided to buy in, then, well, yeah, like you said, it's a great job.
Terrific move from Haruna. Okawa with Tetuba on the outside. Okawa challenging Akum. Play is onside for now with Tetuba. On the byline, Tetuba waiting, spinning right off of Rome. Tetuba across, oh, that was nearly a second for UNCG. Hernandez sprinting across the goal, couldn't get his foot on it.
That is a filthy move from Tetuba. That is really nice to spin Rome there. Now, if you're Rome, you can't get spun there, but really good feet from Tetuba.
Okawa, good ball in for Samaila. And UVA gets it away momentarily off the foot of Visa.
Yeah, and you just look at UNCG and Tetuba here, they're having fun. You know, he's doing stuff that you do on the training ground in a game in the 18-yard box against an ACC opponent. They look so relaxed and so confident right now.
Tetuba, the sophomore from France, all-SoCon freshman team selection a year ago, leading the team with 7 goals. He'll get a breather here. When we talked with Coach Rich, he spoke about Tetuva's physical abilities as a great false 9 player, and you see it in that pocket of space as well.
Yeah, he's really good on the ball, and when you drop into the false 9, you need to be good at it because you need to be able to distribute as well as score goals.
To the back post, that goes off the foot of Hagen, who realized it the last moment. You see the smile on his face.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much he knew about that, but he does well to get a foot on it.
Hayat.
Yeah, just drops to him on the back post and just throws whatever you can at it. Well done by Hagen.
Under 10 to play now in the first half. Long switch of play now for Akum. Has Beauvoir to his left. Donovan Rue applying the pressure off the bench. 5th-year senior coming over from San Diego State a couple of years ago. Coach Rich loves to bring in a fresh front 3 about a half hour, 35 minutes into the match.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference to be able to bring on a front 3 and not let the level drop. And that's what they've done pretty much all season, pretty consistently.
And they've brought in Mikey Ketteman as well, who's been a great goal scorer in his career, dating back to his time at Oakland. Long cross, Longo and Beauvoir near it. Goes off of Longo. Corner kick for the Cavaliers, their 3rd.
Cavalier corner.
You know, the Cavaliers going back to last year, they didn't have the best start either in 2023. They finished the regular season 6-0-2. They need that season-changing play. They'd love it to happen right now. 10 minutes to go in the first half, a little bit less than that off corner kick.
Yeah, they really do just need a moment in which it clicks, in which they get the right starting 11 and they just start to win games easily and not have to grind them out. So they were close against Stanford. You know, there were moments against Stanford in which they looked like they might take the lead.
Visa ready. So are the rest of the Cavaliers. Visa to the back post. Here's a header. It's down and wide. Nick Dang was wide open.
Dang's got to do better there. That's a really good look, and that's exactly what they want to do. They're targeting him on every single set piece. He pulls off to the back post here. He gets up. He's not challenged, and he pulls it wide. It's not an easy goal to score, but you have to put it on frame.
Axel Alejandre was the defender that got lost in the maze there. And that's interesting too, Steve, because when we talked with the UVA coaching staff yesterday, they felt like the center backs for UNCG not awesome at headers, balls in the air.
No, I think UNCG's liable on set pieces to be scored on. And, you know, Dang is their guy when it comes to in-swinging corners. So he's not going to get a ton of chances like that throughout the game, and he's got to finish him when he does get them.
Well, Nick Dang is respected as one of the best players in the country. In the preseason, Top Drawers Soccer ranked him as the 18th best player going into 2024. Playing in the ACC for the first time, moving over from Lipscomb, just like his good buddy Hayes Wood. And he has been a very important player for this Cavaliers team this year.
Number 23, Yoshi Akawa.
Maxwell Debodine, Basil Mark, two of the more physical midfielders. They're in the match now.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. You know, Mark gives you a different look than you get from Okawa. But he's also a pretty dynamic player, and he likes to get forward and get in the attack. And Debody, he's got great feet, and he's also a little gritty. He's got a little bit of bite to him. I like both of them as players, and they give UNCG just something different going forward.
Well, I think it also makes it challenging on the opponent to really figure out your identity, because you have different players who do different things, and it still brings success.
Yeah, it's hard to scout. You know, it's hard to game plan when, you know, UNCG, they could fluctuate. You know, 8 players could be different, can get slotted in there. And so it's difficult to game plan for a team like that who has so many options and can play in different ways.
Beauvoir, a misplay. Donovan Rue takes control. Longo, Rue with the inside run, receives it on the edge of the 18. Donovan Rue tries to beat Austin Rome, who clears it away.
Yeah, Rome does well there to stand him up, not get megged, clear the ball, live to fight another day.
Transfer from Providence, now in his second season with UVA. Has started all the matches for the Cavaliers, has played in all but 50 minutes this year.
Yeah, you know, we talk about UVA finding their starting 11, their go-to 11, which they haven't really done yet, but they have found 3 across the back that have been consistently playing, and, you know, they have a lot of chemistry there. Talking about Visa, Dang, and Rome.
It's just that left back that's a question mark with the injury to Reese Miller. We've seen Sloan there, we've seen Akum there. Victor went off with cramps late in that match against Stanford, if you were watching on Friday night. Coaching staff said that he was totally fine after the match, so that's why he's back in there today.
Yeah, I think it'd be a huge asset. If Akum can work out as their left back, I think that'd be really great, because while I think Sloan's a good player, I don't think that he is a natural left back. I think he's better higher up in the field, and I think Akum is a natural defender. So hopefully that can click for the Hoos.
Beauvoir touches for Akori. Lays it back out wide. Triton Beauvoir, maybe the speediest player on this Cavaliers team. David Akori, 23 in Navy, the junior from Alexandria. 9 games off the bench his first 2 years of college. Played in 5 games off the bench to start this season. First career start today. And they're hoping that his athleticism is an added boost for this Cavaliers lineup. And aside from the athleticism, just the knowledge of, hey, I'm getting an opportunity today. That should give this Cavaliers team as a whole a boost in Coach Gelnabach's eyes.
It's exciting. You want to prove yourself. And there aren't a lot of, you don't know when your next opportunity to start will be. So you'd hope that it does kind of, like you said, just instill something extra, something more to go fight for it and earn that spot and make it yours.
Yeah, Coach Gelnabach and company, they've tried different players. Luke Burns, freshman, made his first career start the other night against Stanford, played in the first half. Now it's Beauvoir on the left side. a Bogu, and how about that gymnastics play from the referee Kevin Marr to get out of the way. Very pliable down there.
You have to be. You know, it comes with the job.
Akori to Mangarov. Basil Lamarck defends. Mangarov, smart play. Visa inside. He's waiting for an option. Here's Akori. Cordova. Back to Mangarov, who is so strong with his left foot. Visa loops it in. Here's Akum. He's had a couple of chances already. Akum, cross denied. Akum gets it back. Longo using the body, shields it out of play, whistle, and a foul on Akum right on the end line.
It's really unlucky for Akum because he's showed great grit there and a lot of hard work to keep that play alive. And at the end of it, to give up a foul is it's really tough. You know, I'm not sure how much was in that. I think the ball was out for a corner before really any substantial contact was made. I think that should be a corner for UVA.
Sometimes it just feels like when you're not getting the results, then you feel like the refereeing decisions don't go your way. Everything starts to accumulate.
Yeah. But I mean, credit to UVA. UNCG has looked better than them, but they've had a couple moments where, you know, they've showed that they can be dangerous, and they're a moment away from equalizing.
They have the edge in shots by 5. Collision on the far side. Visa does nicely to hold on to it. Mangarov. They know the scouting report on this guy. Used to play for their team. And a foul now on UNCG, and the Spartans can't believe it.
This is a really good spot to whip in a ball, look for Dang on this, and maybe equalize before the half.
2 in Navy. Keep your eyes glued on him. Wormed his way free on the corner kick earlier, just couldn't capitalize. Let's find out if he can get on the end of it, whether it's Mangarov or Visa to drive it in. And it is Mangarov to the back post. It hits the crossbar, and it needed a fingertip of Wilson to not go in.
Yeah, I'm not sure he meant it, but it is pretty dangerous in that, you know, Wilson has to hit it out for a corner. But you'd like to see him serve that for a header. I don't think he's going for goal there.
Time growing short on the Cavaliers here in the first half. Down to 10 seconds. To the back post, headed down, deflection. Nick Dang wants a whistle, doesn't get it. Mangarov with the corkscrewing knuckleball, doesn't go. UNCG escapes the first half with a 1-0 lead on an early goal from Yoda. That first half, UVA was not sitting around and waiting. They were attacking.
Yeah, I think UVA, for them it was a tale of two halves. I think that they looked a lot better in the second half than they did in the first, but Stanford's one of the best teams, if not the best team in the nation, and they really did play him straight up for the whole game.
Any tactical adjustments you'd make for the Cavs in the second half?
Well, they've made some personnel adjustments, I see. I think Parker Sloan has come on at left back. We see Howard at right back, which I wonder why those decisions were made. I wonder if Visa and Akum have been, I don't know, if they've taken a knock or they need a breather, because I thought both those guys had pretty solid performances in the first half.
Well, the coaching staff wanted to get Grant Howard involved, and this is the first time that Howard is donning the navy and orange of the Hoos. He's used to the Chicago Maroon of Virginia Tech, coming over from the Hokies. Had a serious knee injury this offseason that turned into a groin as they were getting ready for the year. But he is finally back. 33 in Navy on the near side, junior from Atlanta, led Virginia Tech in minutes as a freshman, second last year as a sophomore.
Yeah, he has a lot of experience. And so if he can be fit, then he can be a huge asset to this team.
DeBodine off the counter, spins off of a Corey, and now UNCG settles it down. The Spartans did a very nice job over the last 10-15 minutes of the half. When they had the ball, they made sure to take their time. Hagan tries to go directly, taken away by Triton Beauvois against Longo. Beauvois slides it to the near side, just not enough oomph on that. Here is the long, lanky Samaila. Konstantinos Georgialidis is in the match, the junior from Cyprus. Another one of those Louisville transfers, just like Axel Alejandre. Georgialidis has not scored just yet in his UNCG career, but with Louisville scored 8 goals and added 6 assists in 2 seasons with the Cards.
Yeah, he's capable of contributing. I think he's shown that in prior years. It's just a matter of getting him in positions where he can do what he's known to do.
Previously a member of the Cyprus U14 through U19 national teams. Joey Batruni calmly outside his 6. Batruni making his 20th consecutive start in between the pipes for the Who's today. Came over from Coastal Carolina last year, took over the starting responsibilities when Holden Brown was injured, and Brown went on to transfer to Indiana. Doubt the Cavaliers in the NCAA tournament last year in the Sweet 16.
You know, Corey, we talked about in the first half how great it is for UVA that they can have some consistency across the back line. And to start the half, they've made 3 changes across the back line. So kind of scratched my head at that one and why they've done that, because I don't think that was the problem.
Yeah, Austin Rome, one of the center backs, has played all but 50 minutes this year. Now it's Luke Makula who's in the back. First-year Cavalier transferring from Coastal Carolina. Georgialidis. And now it's back to Jack Birch. Maybe more of a playmaking center back in Makula as opposed to Rome?
Yeah, possibly. He hasn't played a ton of minutes this year, so it's tough to know. I do think Rome got exposed on a couple plays. I think the goal, Rome got dragged out of position. We saw Tetuva turn Rome on the end line and put in a really dangerous cross. So maybe he's just not having a great game and they wanted to make a switch.
Yeah, Makula hasn't played over the last 3 matches and only 45 minutes off the bench in 3 matches this season. Makula, long ball forward for Beauvois, calmly dealt with by Longo.
And see, moments like that where you see UNCG just so calmly win a second ball, I think those are moments that are really frustrating, because that has nothing to do with ability and nothing to do with tactics, and that's just, you gotta go fight for a ball and challenge for it and challenge for the second one. But UNCG brings it down really easily there, and now they're in possession.
Well, for the Cavaliers, look, it is not time to panic. And from all reports, George Gelnevach has kept his steady poise in the locker room during training sessions. But the other thing to consider, you only have 7 more games on the regular season scheduled, and only 6 of those are against Division I opponents. Beauvois to the back post. Nobody's there as Mangarov made the cut inside.
Yeah, I think what you see there happen is Abogu's going to the front post. He wants that ball driven into the front post, and Beauvois just not on the same page as him. He floats it to the back one. So, like there, it's kind of a half chance. He gets into a dangerous position, and the cross just, he's not on the same page as a center forward. And that happens when you play a lot of different people at center forward. You don't develop that chemistry.
And look, this is a Cavaliers team that returned just 5 out of its 28 goals from last season, only 44% of its minutes. So these are a lot of new guys who are getting used to one another. Makula wanted to restart. It went off the shin of DeBodine, who was trying to delay it. So it's just that magic question that really sometimes doesn't have an answer. How do you mesh together all of the transfers and all of the newcomers?
And I think that's $1 million question in college athletics today, because you can bring in as many transfers as you want.
Oh, how about that shot outside the area? Rebound, Howard plays it in front, and Abogu was looming. Mangarov, back post, Abogu there, punched aside by Wilson.
Really well done from Wilson. He's commanding that box, makes a great save, gets up, makes another great parry.
Beauvoir, back post. Again, nobody there for the Cavaliers. Mangarov slipping inside. It went to the outside.
But it's good from the Cavs. You know, they're creating opportunities, and you see here, really solid shot, really great save from Wilson, the transfer from Akron. He's been really solid for them. And then it's just not really being on the same page. Cross here from Mangarov. I think Abogu might have been offside there, but flag doesn't come up. Good from UVA. It's a good response. It's a good start to the half. They've looked good. Cordova
had that first rocket of a shot. That didn't go. He's still seeking his first career goal, the sophomore from Houston. And now Donovan Rue is down for UNCG. Rue, the fifth-year forward from Davidson. 3 years with San Diego State, now in year 2 with UNCG. And they're going to have to ask for some help here. The assistant athletic director for sports medicine is Siobhan Huggins-Sullivan, and she is trotting across the field right now, and Chris Rich might do the same. You know, Steve, I just wonder, you know, going back to your playing days at James Madison, you made a handful of NCAA tournaments during your time there. There are turning points to seasons. There are ups and there are downs, but you need that moment where things start to swing back up. And I just wonder, like, did you experience that in your career, and how did the Cavaliers get that moment?
Yeah, I think at JMU there were moments in which we realized that we had something special. I think there was one time where Wake Forest came to town. They were #1 in the nation, and we beat them at home, and that was huge for us because that made us realize we're legit. We can really play. And it clicked, and it was like, okay, I think we figured out personnel. I think we know how to play together now. For UVA, it hasn't come yet. You know, they beat St. Joe's and they beat Rider, but not much else. And so for them, they're still searching for that identity. They have a lot of pieces. They have a lot of talent. They're a blue blood, and they have a really great history of soccer here, but it hasn't clicked yet. And you see it even in this game. They've started a new 11, and then they come out in the second half, and it's an even newer 11. And so it just doesn't communicate a lot of confidence, a lot of like, these are our guys, and this is who we're going to run with.
And it's also important to note that you're down a few guys, right? Alberto Pella got injured in warm-ups the other day against Stanford, didn't play in that match. Alvin Gashi got the red card. Reese Miller done for the year with an ACL. So they're certainly looking for combinations that they don't yet know. And it is a challenge to figure that out and manufacture that chemistry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, and those are things that they can't prevent. The injury to Pela, and then losing Gashi to the red card, and Reese Miller tearing his ACL. Those are all really unfortunate things. But those things happen throughout the course of a season. You kind of got to roll with the punches, but you're absolutely right. Those are huge absences for the Hoos.
Right, and you talk about Grant Howard, who's making his Cavaliers debut today, and it's October 1st. You have another player, Willem Abingay, who was expected to be a big part of this team. Grad transfer from Harvard. He's done for the year. He retore an ACL. He tore last year at a captain's practice. And look, the Cavaliers have a gigantic roster. They have 42 guys, but some of the higher profile guys not on the field right now.
Yeah, and you got to wonder if the size of the roster is an attributing factor to the problems that they've had. You know, a typical college roster, you have 28, 29 guys. To have 42 guys, it's harder to make 42 people have chemistry than it is to have 29.
Sure.
And so I don't know if that's really the problem or if that's the biggest problem, but so far it hasn't clicked.
Howard in a wide area, taking on Samaila. Dang and Mangarov. The former Spartan. Cordova, nifty spin. Went off the foot of Lamb. Mangarov on the recycle. Akori bolts forward. Taken off the ball by Basile Mark. His physicality showing up in this match. Play continues, says the referee. Parker Sloan, overlapping run. Mangaroff freelancing to the left side this time, and the Cavaliers get a corner.
That's a good response from UVA. They've lost the ball in the attacking third, and they've immediately pressed the ball back. They've won it, they've gone to the end line, and they've won a corner. That's a really good response, and if they can do that for the next 36 minutes, I am sure they will equalize.
Cordoba to take the corner. Cordoba sends it in. Longo gets a piece of it. Cleared away by Georgialidis momentarily, and now headed aside by Alejandre. Howard adventures forward. Took a shove, but no whistle, and he runs out of room.
It's well done by Samila there, just be strong. Put a elbow into his back, but not foul. He's done really well to stand him up there. He's had an excellent game.
A guy who has not played much recently, but he did begin the year as the starter in the first 4 games. And our referee, Kevin Moore, is making sure that UNCG is not taking too much time off the clock, so he will stop it here with just over 35 minutes to go. Coach Rich was telling us yesterday that he really wanted to take advantage of the fact that his team has not played a full 90 over the last 14 days, and that the Cavaliers are coming off a match on Friday. Now, UVA got an extra 16, 17 hours of rest after the match last night was pushed to today. But he feels like his guys have fresh legs, and they were revved up for this match.
Yeah, they've looked good so far. They've looked full of energy, and they've really, I mean, I think the first half they were better. I think to start the second half, UVA has really had pretty much all the ball.
Howard accelerates, gets across in. A lot of Cavaliers near the goal line. Nobody stayed near the 6.
And you see there just a flash of what Howard can do and what he offers you. It's a little bit different from what you get from Visa. Visa likes to stand up and cross the ball. Howard will take you on. He's got a lot of pace.
Beauvoir, Abogu, spins, lost the ball. Lamb goes shoulder to shoulder with DeBodine, and Maxwell clutches onto it, but now coughs it up on a pass. Parker Sloan seizes possession.
Yeah, I think Sloan has been pretty sharp. He's won a couple tackles so far at left back. He's done well since he's come on.
Sloan, a former Virginia Gatorade Player of the Year back in 2022. Played his club soccer for FC Richmond. Comes in from Cartersville, Virginia, not too far away from Charlottesville. You know, Steve, we touched on earlier the success of UNCG under Coach Rich, winning SoCon tournament titles, regular season championship. This one, for me, really stood out. So, Coach Rich, in his first 6 years at the helm, he's faced ACC opponents 10 times. UNCG has gotten results in those matches 7 times.
Yeah, how about that? And I think, you know, maybe...
As Howard has a look here.
I think maybe part of the reason for that success in the ACC is that Coach Rich actually has a lot of experience in the ACC. He spent time at UNC, at Duke, at Virginia Tech. So he's no stranger to ACC teams and how they play and how to prepare for them. And he always gets his team up for those games. And you see it in the results.
Yeah, he has a couple of wins over Clemson. Beat the Tigers in 2021 when they went on to win the national championship. That goes off the bar unexpectedly.
Yeah, I don't think that's what Lamb was meaning to do, but he almost catches Wilson out there, and that would be a really bad mistake for Wilson to make. He's got to see that through. If it's going to hit the bar, your hand's got to be up there, and he had no interest in playing that ball.
Tough challenge there. Knocked away from Makula. Lamb falls down, and he's having trouble getting back. UNCG pushing numbers forward. Here is Georgialidis. He's on an island here. Georgialidis lets it go, and a big save, necessary one from Batruni.
Yeah, well done by Batruni. Guarding his near post as he has to, but it's really good. It's really well done from Georgialides. I think that's something that I'd like to see Beauvoir do for UVA. Just cut inside here and get a shot off. It's really well done. Goes out for a corner kick. We'll see what they can do here. But I think on the flip side, if Beauvoir can do that for UVA, he always takes it to the end line. Cut inside and have a shot. Mix it up.
There is Triton, junior from Boston, coming in from the New England Revolution Academy. A lot of ties there with Bruce Arena, of course. Headed down, and Batruni waits on it.
Yeah, Rowe does well there to get a head on it. Just not quite enough power behind it. Just really easy save for Batruni, but good set piece from UNCG.
Parker Sloan looks like Spider-Man as he brings that down.
That's well done. It's not easy in the rain.
Twisting in multiple directions to find a way to get that ball down on the surface. Up to Abogu. Hagan gets the first head on it. Sloan to Beauvoir. Can he cut inside here? Let's find out. Longo defending. Beauvoir churns on and throws it inside the box. No dice.
It's well done by Beauvoir. It's even better from Hagan to get a head on that and clear it. You would like to see a trailing midfielder, though, for UVA at the top of the box for balls that spill out after clearances like that.
Half hour to go to make those adjustments. Howard bursting after it. Excellent job shielding the ball, Samaila. You know, if you're watching at home or in the office because it's, you know, a Tuesday afternoon and you're looking up at the score bug, you're saying, okay, UNCG has the lead against an ACC team. Well, if you're a fan of the computers, the RPI would suggest that this is no upset. UNCG has an RPI of 53 in the country. Virginia, dead last in the ACC at 100.
Yeah, it's odd because, like we said, UVA is a blue blood, but they are definitely the underdog in this game. UNCG's had a much better season so far if we're just talking about results.
Ranked ties against Charlotte and West Virginia in their last 2 matches. And they had a really tight match against number 16 Georgetown in DC. It was a 0-0 game for much of it before the Hoyas scored a late winner with just over 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, it's unlucky to concede so late to Georgetown. Another tie against a top 25 opponent would be huge for their RPI. But at the end of the day, you need wins, and Coach Rich said that yesterday. You know, he was saying they're still looking for their signature win, and I think here at UVA, rainy day, at UVA, in Charlottesville, at Clockner Stadium, I think you could call this a signature win for them because while UVA hasn't had a ton of success this year, they're still a good team.
It's still UVA.
It's still UVA.
Beauvoir down, by the way, for the Cavaliers. And poked in the eye there. To Bodine.
Yeah, I don't think there's much malice in that. It's an occupational hazard. I do think he will live.
Occupational hazard. I didn't expect those two words to be put together today.
I think he's going to live. I think he's going to be okay. But yeah, it's unlucky there because I do think he got poked in the eye.
You know, you were discussing there how Coach Rich knows that his team needs wins. I thought it was very fascinating, your discussion with him yesterday about the expectations of being inside the top 25 and the desire to be, you know, nationally recognized.
Yeah, I think especially for UNCG, who you might classify as a mid-major team, that recognition is really huge when it comes to recruiting, but also for the guys on the field to know that they're being recognized as one of the best. You don't want to let it get to you too much, but you can actually, if you get in, you know, the short end of the stick from the NCAA rankings, you can use that as fuel for your fire. And when you step on the field, you're always trying to prove something.
Right. Well, when you played at James Madison, your program was ranked inside the top 25 on a handful of occasions. So how do you balance that, right? The excitement of being in the top 25 versus also getting that phone call from mom and dad saying, oh my God, you're in the top 25, and realizing, okay, that's not really what matters right now.
No, I do think that's right, because ultimately it doesn't matter if you're in the top 25 and September. It matters if you're in the top 25 at the end of October. And so I think you gotta, as best you can, you gotta ignore it, because ultimately it doesn't matter until the tournament time comes. However, for UNCG, I do think a win here gets them into the top 25.
You got those calls from your parents, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's giddy.
That's exactly how my dad sounds.
I'm sure he'll love to hear that.
I'm sure he will.
So Beauvoir being helped off the field by the athletic trainer Kim Johnston. So many different puzzle pieces for Coach Gelnevach in the attack of Bogu and Beauvoir. We haven't seen Hayes Wood just yet today. A.J. Smith comes over from Tyler Junior College. They got to find that guy who can put the ball in the back of the net. DeBodine to Roux. The assistant referee says it was in play. So it's all the way back to Nick Dang. Lipscomb transfer, steers it to Makula, his new center back partner with Austin Rome on the bench. Sloan hauls in the pass. Akori pokes it inside into a dangerous area, ping-pongs around. Akori continues, releases, it dipped, and a save there from Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson does good enough there just to push the ball wide. It did kind of look like it was coming right to him, though, so you'd like to see him catch that, but I'm not sure if it was deflection, if it knuckled. But Akori does really well here, just kind of willing himself through two defenders and then getting a shot off. And then, like I said, Wilson does good enough.
Seemed like that ball was knuckling a little bit.
Substitution for the Spartans, number 19, Maxwell.
DeBodine exiting here along with Mark.
20, let's deal, Mark.
And they bring back in the goal scorer, Yoshia Okawa.
And number 21.
I think it's a good call. I think it's a good sub, because I do think Okawa and Haruna, when they were on the field in the first half, UNCG did look a little bit better.
Wilson ready for that as he vacuums it in against Mangarov. Daniel couldn't get that to the back post enough. As Wilson rockets it forward for Roux. Neatly brings it down. All the way across it goes. George Alidis inside the 18, 1v1. George Alidis makes a couple of defenders slip. Oh, that shot inches away from giving the Spartans a 2-0 lead.
Everything there from George Alidis is perfect until the finish. And the finish was just inches away, just really does well. Cuts back not only Howard, but also Dang, and then, like you said, inches away.
Remember that one. 27 minutes to go as Nick Dang slices it to the far side. Right there are the Spartans. Okawa goes down.
And with the Beauvoir substitution, they brought on Luke Burns, and they pushed Akori to left mid, and they slotted Burns at the 10 role, which will be interesting because against Stanford he only played out wide. So we'll see if he can create something and be that center attacking mid that makes plays happen.
Haruna into the box. 3 bodies go down. And Okawa lets it roll out of play. They're going to say goal kick. Okawa and the rest of the Spartans are very perplexed. And now the referee is pointing towards the corner flag.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's been called here. Originally, it looked like the assistant referee was calling for offside, but they've signaled a corner, and we're going to play a corner.
So UNCG gets its 3rd corner on the afternoon. The Spartans pleaded, and they received what they desired. So it's Okawa to take the corner, fresh off his 8th career goal in the first half. Okawa pours it in right towards the center dot. George Alidis, try 2. Virginia clears. Alejandre dupes Mangarov, lifts it. A lot of space here for George Alidis. Onside for the moment. Georgialides carries it out of play, jammed into the net by Ketemin, but again, the ball was out of bounds. Goal kick, Virginia.
That's a really good ball from, I believe it was Alejandre out to Georgialides. Just takes a big touch, but really, really good distribution from the center back there.
Coach Rich was saying that Alejandre, he's a raw player, but he can be really special moving forward for this program. 5th year of college, coming over from both North Carolina and Louisville. So there's another guy with ACC experience across the board. Cordova to Lamb. Now the Cavaliers hemmed into their own defensive half. That has not been the story throughout this second half. A lot of space now for Luke Burns, the freshman from Scottsdale, Arizona.
And right there from Luke Burns, turning the ball, playing between seams. It's exactly what you want out of a 10.
Here he is. He shoots. There's that big center back, Hagan. Mangarov tripped. And this is a dangerous spot for a free kick for the Hoos.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see who takes this, because I think if Visa was on the field, he would be one of the first guys on top of the ball.
On the Spartans.
I think likely Mangarov.
Cavaliers felt like they had a significant advantage in set pieces going into this match against the Spartans, hoping that it pays off here. As Cordova is in communication with Mangarov. Makula wants it on this near side, 21 in Navy. Mangarov, he'll take it. Loops it to the back post for Makula, headed down and in! And the Cavaliers get the equalizer! Nick Dang involved, Abogu was near it, Makula wanted it, and he playmaked it.
That is a great, great ball from Cordova. Puts it on a platter from Makula, who is calling for it. All day he's calling for that ball. Gets open, perfect header back across. Really well done. You see Mangarov on the service. Makula headed across. Wilson in no man's land, and I'm not sure who touched it. They might all claim it.
Is it Burns? Is it Abogu? If it's Burns, it's his first career goal.
I guess we'll call it a team goal for now, but
all right.
That is exactly what UVA needs. And you know, they've looked dangerous the entire second half. They deserve that goal. They deserve to be 1-1, and this is going to be an exciting final 23 minutes.
All right, so they have credited it to Luke Burns. It is indeed his first goal in college. He was part of one of the most prolific club teams growing up with Phoenix Rising. #1 national ranking each of the last 4 years, and he has his first moment as a Cavalier. Now a yellow card is handed out to Chris Rich. We got a lot to sort out here.
You know, good for Luke Burns. I think he's looked excellent since he's come on the field. He's given UVA exactly what they need, and now he's got a goal to go with it.
And now Coach Rich continues to be irate. They're going to take a look at this last goal. Coach Geldovach does not like that they're reviewing this, as his hat has just been thrown onto the field.
You know, the
Stays
thing
on the
about
sideline.
the thing about the hat throw is you can only do it once a game.
Okay.
So he's used it with 23 minutes to go. We'll see if it pays off.
All right, so here's the goal again. So they're going to stay with the call on the field, which was a goal. And I don't know if they thought if anyone was offside or a foul in there. You seen anything?
I think perhaps they were looking to see if it was offside. Perhaps they were looking to see if there was a handball. I'm not sure, but we're 1-1 here.
And game on. So the first half goal from Okawa, and Virginia gets the equalizer with Burns, and now a free kick for UNCG, or potentially a throw-in. Well, exactly that. We had a long conversation yesterday with Associate Head Coach Adam Parent. He was telling us that he had the belief that the Cavaliers could score on a set piece today against this Spartans defense. Turns out to be true.
Yeah, and Parent's a guy that he knows ball, And so it's not surprising to see that he correctly predicted how they were going to score.
Clairvoyant.
And I think they've looked dangerous on set pieces all day.
Well, after the Spartans got their first goal, they had a good stretch of possession. Be interesting to see who holds on to the ball primarily in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Abogu with the intercept. Chris Rich imploring his team for a high press. Free kick Hoos. Past the midway point of the second half, and this one has suddenly become very spicy.
Yeah, I'd really like to see UVA go chase this one and commit numbers forward and go try and win this game, because a win would be really big for them. They really need it.
Yeah, it's been a minute since the Cavaliers have recorded 3 points. The last win for the Hoos, August 29th, against St. Joe's, 5-0 over the Hawks. UVA winless in the entire month of September. They had 3 1-1 ties against Maryland, Wake Forest, and Cal, and 2 1-0 losses to Duke and Stanford.
Yeah, it's unlucky to go winless in September, but those 3 ties that you mentioned are all against top-tier programs. And so they aren't far off, but at a certain point, you just got to win games.
Burns, if he gets that pass off for Mangaroff, the Cavaliers are in. Howard goes down, slowly gets to his feet. Free kick UVA. Georgialidis does not like the decision from our referee.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're arguing there. It looks like a foul to me.
And now the Cavaliers with an error as Mangaroff sought Howard and he couldn't keep it in play.
I got a bit overzealous there. Yeah. Played too quickly. Howard wasn't ready.
Those little moments, man, they mean so much. They add up. Samaila, the head from Lamb. Now it goes off his left foot. Makula. Waiting. Looking. Dealing it for Burns. Corey helps out. And Dovolo gets a foot in there. Top goal scorer for UNCG with 4. Haven't seen him on the ball all that often today. 14 in the white.
Yeah, you know, he's been quiet ever since, I don't know, first 10 minutes of the game. He looked pretty good, and ever since then just hasn't been able to get on the ball that much. I think Parker Sloan's done a really good job of shutting him down in the second half. But he's a guy that if they can unlock him, he can be really dangerous.
And now it's David Okori who needs to be stretched out. Making his first career start today, Triton Beauvois, wearing the fluorescent bib, is on his feet near the touchline, waiting to get in.
Yeah, and I think Corey, whether or not he's okay here, I do think it might be wise to get him out of this game and put Beauvois back in, because I think Beauvois has been UVA's most dangerous player throughout the entire game. And Corey, ever since being pushed out wide, he's looked a little lost. He hasn't really gotten on the ball very much. I'm not sure how natural of a winger he is. And
Coach Gelnabach is waving Corey off the field. So that'll do it for David today. His 15th career appearance. First time on the field when the opening whistle was blown. Gets a shoulder pat from Coach Gelnabach.
David Okori.
And earlier in the match, Steve, you were asking for Beauvois to cut inside. Find out if that happens in the final 20. Arnaud Tetuva is near it. Dang heads it. Dang continues. Hits it off his own teammate. Forward for Abogu. Chests it down for Burns. Oh, that's an assertive play from Hagan, but he gave it right up. Mangaroff. And now Burns. Crosses in. Bypasses a couple of Spartans. UVA saying handball. Play continues for the moment. Cordova shoots. That's blocked. Rebound. Abogu. That's ricocheted away. And now Georgialidis outside the 18. Haruna. Tetuva. Dang provides a challenge. Lamb can't win the ball. Helter-skelter play here from Klockner Stadium. Into a wide position now for the Spartans, and Dovolo takes on Sloan. Dovolo inside the 18. Oh, what a challenge there from Sloan. And after all of that, we'll take a look at that last play from inside the Cavaliers' offensive 18.
Wow, what a stretch of play there. First of all, Parker Sloan does incredibly well there. He is all alone, isolated, out wide with Davilo, and he does really well just to give up a corner there. That is a really good tackle. And then on the other end, I'm not sure what happened to Mangrove, but he looks to be in pain. And there was a pretty crunching tackle at the top of the box.
Immediately, the Cavaliers reserves were asking for a handball, and I believe it may have been Hagan who was involved in that.
Yeah, so the tackle on Mangrove, it's never a foul. Alejandre gets the ball first, he follows through, and Mangrove goes over his leg. But I'm not quite sure about the handball.
I think looking at it, Steve, it went off of the backside of Hagan. And yeah, the refereeing decision is no penalty. And I think they get that right.
Yeah, I think so too. So we'll play a corner from UNCG.
And terrific officiating from Kevin Marr, who let the play continue, knew that he had the opportunity to go back and look, let everything play out, and his initial reaction was correct.
Yeah, it's great officiating. He handled it well. He's got two pretty big personalities on the sideline that he's so far he's dealt with pretty well.
Spartan corner.
Well, the Spartans were getting ready to take the corner, and Mangarov is still down, and the athletic trainer Kim Johnston is on the field. So we cannot continue play until that situation is resolved.
Yeah, Mangarov began to walk off, decided he couldn't make it, and took a seat.
We are starting to get a cornucopia of things happening in this match. You're getting a lot when you signed up to watch this match.
Yeah, it's been a really, really exciting second half, and I'm looking forward to the last 19 minutes because it's been very go, go, go.
No, we are nowhere close to being done.
A lot of action.
Good to see Mangarov trotting off. He's got a shin guard off, so he's got to readjust that.
Yeah, it was a tough tackle from Alejandre, but it looked pretty clean. He got the ball first, and didn't look like there were any studs involved.
Off the head of Tetuva, and over the bar, goal kick for UVA.
Cavalier goal kick.
There have been so many unsettled situations in the second half that I'm sure both coaching staffs would like their teams to slow it down a bit. Just get a good spell of possession.
Take a breath, for sure. And after that breath, go win the game.
Tetuva sprints towards the near side. The inside run there from Haruna. And now the Cavaliers with Grant Howard.
And you see the athleticism there from Howard. That's something that Visa, he's more of a technical player, and he's a great leader. But Howard brings a lot of physicality and a lot of athleticism that you don't get from Visa. So he's done really well since coming on.
Yeah, he looks strong as an ox out there. That's a big guy. Cordova advances. Mangarov took a shot in the back from Samaila.
For me, Mangarov's got to be a little stronger there. He gets hit, he goes down, he's completely fine. He's got to be a little tougher there and stay on his feet because he's stopped an attack there.
Dang switches it to the far side. Beauvoir back in. 1v1 against Longo. Rebound opportunity. Burns lifts it. Wilson in a collision with Abogu. And here we go. Abogu and Hagan. Those two need to be separated. You know, I'm sure Coach Gelnevach wouldn't mind a little nastiness right now with his team needing results down the stretch of the season.
Yeah, you got to have a bit of bite, and I think that's just all Abogu is doing here. I don't know, what they expect him to do. He's got a challenge for that ball. If not, he's not doing his job. A little bite is good, and I think both teams showing that there.
Georgialidis balloons it high in the air. Lamb jousting there with Haruna. Those two go down. UNCG's sideline wants a card, and referee Kevin Marr agrees.
Yeah, it's a harsh tackle from Lamb there. A bit reckless, honestly, and unnecessary. He's got position on him. He's goal side. Haruna's going towards the sideline. There's no reason to really throw your whole body at that like he did.
As we touched on earlier, the Spartans under Coach Rich against current ACC programs 2, 3, and 5 in 10 matches. So results in 7 out of those 10, a couple of wins over Clemson, a tie against Stanford in the Sweet 16 in 2022, but advanced in PKs. Georgialidis with Howard shadowing him to the back post. Dang heads it away, recovered by Dovolo. Enzo Dovolo fakes. Sloan defends. Dovolo crosses in off the head of Hagan, and it glances wide.
Dovolo does really, really well there against Parker Sloan. Cut inside, whipping it in swinging cross. Hagan gets up for it, but isn't quite able to put a lot on it. But that's really, really well done from Dovolo. You see here, just cutting inside, balancing, in swinger, far post, and Hagan's a big guy, and that's a really good opportunity for UNCG.
Coach Rich telling his team, win the header, as he claps his hand with his approval. Abogu, and Mangarov brings it down, and Abogu's to his right. The former Spartan Mangarov out wide for Howard. Cordova. Lamb scanning. Howard inside for Burns. Couldn't get it there. Great anticipation by the young freshman Samaila.
Yeah, it's well done again by Samaila to break that up. It's also good, Luke Burns, since coming on, he's been really good about finding those half spaces and getting into dangerous positions to receive the ball. Just doesn't come off there.
Mangarov goes down like a helicopter. Beauvoir, and now Abogu, and he shoots with the left foot off the side netting.
Yeah, it's a good take with his left foot, and UVA's done well there. From Mangarov to Abogu, Beauvoir, they're combining well, and they're finding some chemistry. Here you see, he decides not to lay it off to Beauvoir, take it himself, hits it with the left foot. I think Wilson has that covered, but still, it's a very, very good opportunity for UVA.
And now Abogu getting some help on the front line. Steve, we asked the question at halftime, where's Hayes Wood? Here he is, the Lipscomb transfer. A lot of goal-scoring touch on his right boot.
Yeah, he's got 14 minutes to prove himself and prove that he deserves to be on the field. And he's playing out wide here, which is not typical for him. He's usually played center forward this year, but he's got 14 minutes to run around and see what he can give this team.
Georgialidis sneaks inside, slides it forward for Tetuva, and scooping that one up, Joey Petruni. Yeah, Hayes Wood coming off a season-ending ACL injury, 25 minutes into Lipscomb's opening match last year against FAU. Long recovery. He was very patient, though, and the coaching staff said he showed a lot of maturity through that recovery process from the spring into the summertime. 22 career goals. His first one as a Cavalier was against St. Joe's, the last time the Hoos won a match.
And you see as Hayes Wood comes onto the field playing as a right winger, Mangarov, he's sliding into more of a center midfield role. It'll be interesting to see how Burns and Mangarov interact in the midfield. If one of them plays as 10, as one of them plays as 8, I think they're both kind of natural 10s.
Dovolo has been a problem on that far flank in recent moments of this second half. Longo didn't get all of it. And it's back to Hagan. They have plenty of goal scorers up top now for the Hoos. Wood with 22 career goals, Abogu with 13, Mangarov with 11. These guys know how to put it into the back of the net. Haven't done it all that often here in 2024. Excellent challenge from Wood. And here is Howard seeking space. With just over a dozen minutes to play here at Klockner Stadium. First goal today came from Yoshia Okawa within the first 15 minutes of the match. And then Luke Burns, his first career goal off a set piece here in the second. UNCG without a win on the road since last September. On the 9th of September 2023 at Charlotte 2-1. And the Cavaliers haven't had a win since August the 29th. Something's got to give, unless we get a tie. Wood checking back. Burns one touch. Here is Wood. He's being held on by the back of his jersey. He shoots it wide.
That's a really good ball from Luke Burns to get Hayes Wood in there. I mean, it's perfectly weighted. The freshman has looked fantastic since coming on. Hayes Wood there, yes, there's some pulling, there's some tugging here from some Milo on Wood, but that's soccer. There's nothing there. That's never a pen. Wood has got to be strong. He's a strong guy. He's got to stand up there and put that on frame.
If it were American football and he were a defensive back, it would have been 5 yards on the defense and a first down.
That's right.
Samaila, though, has done a very nice job. We were surprised to see him inserted as the left back. Keenan Bader has been the recent left back for UNCG, but this freshman has showed a lot today.
Yeah, Smiler's been good. And like you said, Bader he's played the majority of the minutes at that position. He was all-conference freshman team, but Samaila, I mean, he's looked great today.
Here he is again, and now he's dragged down by his jersey. Wood kicks it away, and he will be shown a yellow card because of it, I believe. Well, they'll just stop the clock instead. The great thing about these next 10 minutes, I don't think either side's content with the draw. So I think we're going to get full throttle from both teams.
Yeah, nor should they be, because as you just were talking about, this would be a really, really important win for both teams, and it's there for the taking. The game is really opened up. They can go get it. Either team can really grab a goal, it feels like.
Okawa. Tatuva certainly offside.
Yeah, backline of UVA does really well there just to step up on Tatuva and catch him offside, because Okawa had a really quick turn there, well-weighted ball in behind, but Nick Ding and his partner Mikula have looked really, really good the second half.
Howard analyzes too far out in front of Abogu. Hagan defending. And there is Seth Wilson.
It's the right idea, it just doesn't come off right.
Wilson, who played with FC Dallas Academy for 4 years, finished up with North Texas of MLS Next Pro. 2 years at Akron, redshirted one of those years. Here he is now at UNCG, a Spartans program that lost all 3 of its goalies from a year ago. But some necessary changes after just a 2-win season a year ago. They have 3 wins already this year. Kevin Marr making sure that we are getting every ounce of soccer that we deserve today.
Coming out for UNCG.
Steven Hernandez back in. And Konstantinos Georgialidis to take a seat. Also, the new rule change this year, tied matches under 15 minutes. Clock stops on any substitution. Okawa blasting it forward. Sloan with Dovolo behind him. Steers it back for Joey Batruni, who hammers it away. Throw in for the Spartans. Dovolo weaving around multiple Cavaliers to cling on to possession. His talent certainly noticeable here in the second half, and he's got space here with Okawa making the inside run. Dovolo, though, coughs it up. Sloan defending, and now it's Luke Burns. Abogu checking to the ball. Burns opts to turn on the engine himself. Burns with Wood to his right, gives it to Hayes, and their defending was Alejandre. Burns has it back. Mangarov patiently waiting. They know that he's got a howitzer of a left foot, so they make him go to his right. Former Spartan, Daniel Mangarov. Lamb, Mangarov, and Howard. And it's back to Lamb, just outside the 18. Dodges one Spartan, fakes again. Mangarov waiting. Makula. Coastal Carolina transfer. Parker Sloan now, loops it. And it's right into the hands of Wilson.
Yeah, it's just not a good enough ball from Parker Sloan there.
Ooh, and how about that play from Howard? If he doesn't get it, it's Hernandez in the clear. Now it's Wood.
Hayeswood, I mean, Hayeswood, he's either got to take a touch there or he's got to get his hips all the way around the ball, because he's in the 18-yard box. Nobody's within 5 feet of him, and he hits it right to the keeper.
Tatuva inside the 18, clips it forward and wide, and Nick Dang was defending, and Batruni gives him a chest bump. Goal kick for the Who's.
Yeah, I think that chest bump means thank you in goalkeeper, because that was a very clutch tackle from Nick Dang. Just getting in position, lunging, barely getting a foot on it, but it's good enough, and he disrupts Tatuva.
Is goalkeeper recognized as an official language of this world?
It is on the soccer pitch,
okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
They're a different breed.
Well, they say this is a global game, so maybe that's the global language. Wood heads it forward. Abogu slithered towards the inside. Instead, it went outside. Makula taking no chances. Under 6.5 to play in the second half. Who's and the Spartans deadlocked at 1. UNCG has beaten Virginia once. That was back in 2003 in Greensboro, 1-0 decision. Since then, they've played twice. Cavaliers winning in overtime in 2013. Your brother Patty was a freshman in that match.
He must have been.
Yeah.
He must have been. I can't say I remember it.
Yeah, he was a young buck. You were even younger at the time. And then they played to a 0-0 draw here in Charlottesville after 110 minutes, September the 14th of 2021. That was a tight competitive match as well. Dang with the tackle and the whistle. The late intervention from Hernandez gives the Cavaliers the ball back, and another clock stoppage. And a yellow card has been handed out to Hernandez. This is one lengthy second half, but one that has provided a lot of entertainment.
Yeah, it sure has. I mean, it's been really credit to both teams. They've both kind of opened up their play, and they haven't sat back, and they've gone for it, and they've been exciting to watch in the second half. I think so far this second half is the best UVA's looked all year.
Really?
I really do.
What makes you say that?
Well, I think you see players like Luke Burns come on the field, and he's just looked a lot more free than they've had as a number 10. Mangarov has since been moved into the 10, and Luke Burns is kind of playing an 8 role now. But I think changes like that, and Grant Howard, I think those guys have just looked a lot more relaxed and a lot more willing to make mistakes. And in being willing to make mistakes, they've just expressed themselves, and they've had a lot of freedom, and they've played just a lot better.
Yeah, maybe not the cast of characters that Coach Gelnovich and the coaching staff were expecting to begin the year, but need to make adjustments. They've shown up in the second half. Tatuva inside the area. Dang defending, draped all over him. All the way it goes. UNCG wants a penalty. The rebound shot is in. Doesn't matter. Spartans take the lead on the road with under 5 to go. And it's Daniel Longo with his first career goal.
That is brutal if you're UVA, because they've looked so good, but I mean, credit to UNCG. Tatuva again, one-on-one with Dang. He wins it here, top of the box. You got to wonder if that's a PK. And Longo, what a finish from a right back. I mean, that is beautiful.
Haruna thought that he was brought down illegally, but the cleanup there from Longo is first as a Spartan.
Yeah, really good finish, really good composure in the box there as the ball falls to him. And now you got to wonder if you're UVA. I mean, you got to make some changes, and you got to maybe take out a defender, throwing it forward, and go chase this game, because a 2-1 loss does absolutely nothing for you.
Desperation's got to be a factor here for the Hoos. Correction, we said first career goal. It's his first as a Spartan. He played with Canisius and had a couple of goals there. The punch from Wilson, and 2 players are down, 1 for either side. And with a potential head injury, the referee is going to stop it immediately.
Yeah, Wilson does well there to command his box. I'm not sure if while he was in the process of punching that ball, he punched Hayes Wood, but really good from Wilson. I mean, he has commanded his box all day, and that's another good play from him.
Or if he punched his teammate Alejandre on accident, who was still down. Wood's okay, he's up. Or if it's Wood, yeah, that falls on top of Alejandre. Even with that goal from Longo, the right back, I don't know if we've hit the climactic moment just yet. There's still some time here for stuff to happen.
Yeah, there is time, and I think UVA looks like they're up for it. But I think if you're UVA, if I were Gelnovich, what I would do is I would put Nick Dang. I'd put him up top. If you're not going to make a sub, if you're not willing to make a change, then put Dang up top and serve some balls into the box.
A lot of discussions happening right now. First of all, it is great to see that Alejandre is on his feet, because that was a serious collision inside the 6-yard box with Wood and Wilson. But now you may have to replace one of your key center backs, and one of the other center backs that UNCG deploys when he's healthy, Sammy Lashikar. He's not available, or actually he is. Okay, so he is coming off the bench here. Interesting. They were hopeful that Lashikar could return later in the year, but here he is now.
Number 16.
He wears the 22 in white. You're seeing on your screen multiple other Spartan reserves are on the field. William Ampofo, who hasn't played in the last couple of matches, is also in. So Coach Rich using some fresher legs down the stretch.
And number 18, Isa Haruna. And number 17, Steven Hernandez.
All hands on deck. Whatever's necessary to get 3 points here at Klockner. They'll put it down for Brendan Lamb, who gives it back for the freshman Burns. Howard out wide. 8 Cavaliers inside the 18-yard box right now. Howard taken away. Double team. UNCG with the ball. Colton Sessoms, another one of those substitutes in the match. Burns knocks it all the way back for Joey Petruni. 4 minutes to play in regulation time, and that'll do it no matter what. Alejandre stays in, got a piece of it, and here is Abogu. Hagan didn't get all of it. It's a corner kick for the Hoos.
And as we said, and as Adam Perrin said in the pregame, set pieces are a very, very vulnerable place for UNCG. So this is maybe the best opportunity they'll get for the rest of the game.
3.5 to go. Mangaroff mashes it in. Back post. Abogu looking for it, but it was headed aside.
Yeah, Salter does well there to get up and head that ball away. He just came onto the field. He looks like he's up for the challenge.
And a freshman who's played only 1 minute this season.
How about that?
Try it from the other side now with just over 3 minutes to go. Burns crosses in, it's short and headed away by the goal scorer Longo. His tally in the 86th minute, the difference right now. Mangaroff fakes, takes some more space. Into the box, knocked away by the Spartans. Sessoms again. Makula. Dangerous, but a terrific move. And he lifts it into the box, and it's headed down by Hagan, and a whistle and a free kick for the Spartans.
Yeah, he's playing with fire there, Makula. He does well to keep the ball and then get in a place where he can cross, but the service there has to be better. Hayeswood can do nothing with that ball, and he commits a foul. There's in situations like this where there's 2.5 minutes left, there's a lot of desperation maybe, but you have to kind of, I don't know, you got to play. There's a fine line between forcing it and putting the ball into the box and chasing the game, because you want quality chances, and that was not one of them.
Dang finding Howard. A lot of Cavaliers near the back line of the Spartans right now. Wood in a wide position. Dovolo defending. Another corner kick for the Hoos. The Cavaliers now with their 8th on the day.
That's a Cavalier.
Under 2 minutes to go. Clock certainly a factor. It's Beauvoir who is near the goalie, Seth Wilson, as Mangaroff takes the corner, and Hagan heads it again. That noggin's been busy today. Play continues. UNCG may have been 2-on-1 there. Certainly a lot of field to cover, but it's back to Petruni. Everybody back for the Spartans with 90 seconds to go. Mangaroff to Burns, lets it roll, and smartly the freshman Samaila lets it trickle out of bounds.
And that's going to run a lot of time off the clock there.
Seth Wilson cleverly moves the ball to the opposite side of the 6-yard box. Take this goal kick with under 60 seconds to play. Elevates this towards midfield. Headed down by Makula. Hagan again. He has been all over the place late in the second half. Dang distributes for Howard. Wood an option on the outside. He's undercut. Samaila again. And now Samaila in a wrestling match. Play continues. Dovolo hugging onto the ball, milking time off the clock. Tripped and lost the ball. It's out of bounds off of Samaila. 25 seconds to go. Lamb to throw it in. Opts to go short. Howard, the cross. Inside the area, bounces around. Here's Mangarov, the former Spartan. 15 seconds to go. Lamb on the outside and waits. Gets a cross in. Seth Wilson vacuums it in. That'll do it from Klockner Stadium. In the 86th minute, Daniel Longo with his first goal as a Spartan gives UNCG a signature road victory.
Final score of today's game.
Yeah, you know, we talked